Well, hello, Facebook viewers. Welcome to the Bond and Botus Weekly Facebook Live. My name is Brad Botus, and I'm an attorney with Bond and Botus, where we help people try to take control of their financial future. We help people throughout the state of Alabama, throughout the state of Mississippi, and we're in the Knoxville area in Tennessee, the Bond and Botus law offices. We've been helping people with money problems for over 30 years now. And we want you to know just about everybody is struggling right now. We've been through a lot over the last 10 months or so. And if you're having financial problems or think you may be having financial problems in the future, we are offering absolutely free initial consultations, and we are doing them over the phone or by video or in person, whatever you're comfortable with. But please reach out for help. We've been doing this Facebook Live weekly. We do it every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Time for about 9 months now, and we try to address topics that may be of interest to people as we go through times like we've never seen before. Last week, we talked about how COVID is impacting older people and things that people can do with their estate planning. We talked about financial planning for seniors, and we had a probate attorney or an estate planning attorney from up in Illinois. Great episode. I encourage you. Stephanie Garces was just excellent. I encourage you, if you are caring for an older person or somebody in your family, a loved one that is older and maybe having some financial challenges, look back to that episode. It would be helpful to you. Now, today, I'm very lucky to have my good friend and my law partner, Meredith Drummond. Meredith practices in our offices in Mississippi, in Jackson, and in Hattiesburg, and in Vicksburg. Meredith, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Brad.
So, Meredith is originally from Springfield, Massachusetts. Like me, she is originally a Yankee, as they say in the areas that we live now, Meredith, but we've both lived in the South for a long, long time.
Yeah, a long time. Lived here
to love it.
5 years now.
Wow. Yeah, it's been, believe it or not, it's been over 40 for me now.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to believe. But I've learned to love the South. Meredith, I think, has really an interesting background in that she initially went to work with Bond and Botus close to 20 years ago, working with people having financial problems. And then you left for a little while and went to the dark side, I'll call it.
Yeah, I did.
Represented mortgage companies.
I did.
Mortgage servicers. And then we were fortunate, and you came back to helping good, honest people and came back to work at Bond and Botus. But Meredith, you went to college up in Massachusetts. Now, you went to Smith College, which is in Northampton.
Right.
And you got your degree in government, which means that you probably intended to go to law school all along.
I did.
You came south and went to law school at the Mississippi School of Law, which is there in Jackson.
Right.
You met your husband, Jamie, and you lived, as you said, in Mississippi for a long time. What else can you share for us about your background that may be of interest to our viewers, especially those that are there in Mississippi?
Well, like you said, I mean, I am very well versed in the mortgage part of bankruptcy. I know a lot of the attorneys personally because I worked with them. And, I know kind of the creditor's mindset a little bit, which might help anyone as far as being able to look at the letters, the proofs of claims, things like that, and know what it actually means, to try to help them and understand what it is. Because when they send you all these documents, like loan modifications, forbearances, things like that, people don't know what they are. So they need a lawyer who actually can look at it and know what it is and what the language means.
Well, and you're an excellent resource for that. In fact, I know some of the rest of us will call you and ask you for help in deciphering what these mortgage servicers are saying and what they're doing. Meredith also has a background in Social Security law, helps
Right.
people with Social Security disability claims. For those of you in our Mississippi viewing area, if you need help, Meredith is one of the kindest people and smartest attorneys I know. So Meredith, what I want to talk about today, the time we're going through, it's a global pandemic.
Right.
Who would have ever thought you and I would be living through this?
I know.
I mean, it's an economic crisis that it'll go down in American history. People will be reading about it in school for decades. And people see news stories and all, and they hear the big picture. But what you and I see on a daily basis are those people that are actually impacted financially.
Right.
We know there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety. And what I want to talk about today is I want people to know, first of all, they're not alone. In our offices, we do absolutely free initial consultations. We will, whether it be by phone or video like we're meeting today, or whether it be in person, we'll talk to you about your situation. We're not going to judge you. We're going to try to help you come up with a solution to your problems. So, I'm the old one here. I've been doing this for over 30 years, but you've been at it for quite a while.
Yeah.
We kind of forget that, you and I are at the courthouse all the time. You and I meet with clients all the time, but a lot of folks, when they come to see us or when they reach out to a bankruptcy attorney, it's for the first time in their life. It's a big thing, and I want to explain to people what they can expect and what working with a good bankruptcy attorney is like.
Right.
So, Meredith, let's talk about, I guess, what would be some of the things that would cause a person to reach out to a bankruptcy attorney?
Well, a lot of times it's either hopefully, and not right now because foreclosures aren't happening, but eventually they will be. And if they're not federally backed loans, then foreclosures can actually happen. So foreclosures would be one thing. When you have a sale date, please come and see an attorney before that sale date. We can help you prior to the sale date. But I know in Mississippi, once that sale date is passed, that's it. The house is gone. So you need to, come to us to see what your options are as far as saving the house.
So Meredith, let me just, let's back up for a second there, because you and I both know what a sale date is. That's kind of second nature, but so let's back up. That somebody gets behind on their mortgage payments.
Right.
So what's going to happen? What is the sale date, and how does that come about?
They will get a letter from the mortgage company, and it'll have substitute trustees notice of sale. Under the Mississippi statute, they have to give you that. It's posted at the courthouse also, and it's also published in the local newspaper for at least 3 weeks. So that is, you'll see it in the paper. You may hear from it from friends. Unfortunately, I've had that happen, that your house is for sale. But you should get a letter that says substitute trustees notice of sale, and it will have a date of the sale being held. And you have to come and see someone prior to that date. Coming the day after, it's not going to work, because after that sale date, after the sale of your house, it's gone. It either went back to the bank or went to a third party. It's gone. So you need to come before that to see if you can save your house.
And we often can help save their home. We can stop that foreclosure sale. And for our viewers, I want you to, if you're in Mississippi or you're in Alabama or you're in Tennessee, the foreclosure process is fairly similar in these 3 states. We're all what are called non-judicial foreclosure states. All it takes is notice in a newspaper and a sale, and your house is gone. But just come see Meredith, come see me or one of our other attorneys. well before that actual date on which they say they're going to sell your house, and we should be able to help. And I will throw out that foreclosures have already started back up. We're seeing them in Alabama, not the government-backed ones. There's still a moratorium on those, but we're seeing foreclosure sales going through on other mortgages. So they're happening, people.
They're happening, yeah.
Sometimes people come to see us because they're facing an eviction, although right now there are moratoriums on a lot of evictions. It may be that you're being sued by a debt collector.
Right.
Right now, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of people that have failed businesses, folks that have operated businesses successfully for years.
Right.
And all of a sudden things are shut down. People can't come into their restaurants or their businesses, and businesses are failing. And people that never dreamt they would have to see a bankruptcy attorney or talk to a bankruptcy attorney,
right,
are reaching out to us for help. And it's hard. It's hard to reach out to somebody. And I'll say it, Meredith, it's especially hard for a male sometimes. We're prideful and it's hard to reach out.
Right.
But there are things we can do. So if I hire you, if somebody comes in and they retain you to help, whether it be a lawsuit or a foreclosure or eviction, what's going to change, Meredith?
Well, once you hire us, we can, we'll handle some phone calls. Actually, a lot of times I think what happens is we give you hope, because a lot of people come into our office and they can't see the light because they're so depressed and they've got so much on them. They don't even see that there is a solution. I think a lot of times hopefully when they leave, especially I hope talking to me, that they leave with some hope that we can solve this and we can work this out. Even, at times if there really isn't, I can't necessarily help them. They know that there are steps they can take, or they know that, maybe I can't do a bankruptcy, but there's a solution. And I think that helps.
What I always tell people is, our consultations are free. And even though I'm a bankruptcy attorney, my first objective is to try to find a non-bankruptcy solution for you. Unfortunately, often by the time people get to us,
right,
there are not a lot of options other than bankruptcy. But bankruptcy is not the end of the world. You and I both keep boxes of tissues in our office for a reason, because once somebody comes in and we can let them know what their options are and how we can stop collectors from calling them and give them a plan so that they can save their home, protect their car from being repossessed, or stop a wage garnishment. Often it's through Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is the type of bankruptcy where you work your way out of debt. You pay back what you can afford, so you can work your way out of debt with some dignity, maintain all your possessions. Just important to have a plan together.
Right.
And Meredith, you've been helping people with bankruptcy solutions for a long time. How many bankruptcies would you say you've handled personally over the years?
Oh, I don't know, a whole lot. I've been doing, whether I worked for the creditor side for 10 years, and I've been doing bankruptcy for the debtor side probably 5 or 6 years now, if not more. So a lot. So
hundreds, I'm sure, for you at least.
Yeah.
And in each situation, those people, when they first come to see you, they're worried, they're upset, they don't know what they're going to do. And after that initial consultation, at least they know what their options are.
And I think that's also a relief, because you know that there's options. Because like I said, a lot of times when they come in, they don't see any options, or they don't feel there are any options, and there are. And bankruptcy is one of those options.
I think the most important thing we can do sometimes is just, they're worried about so many things all at once. They're worried about how they're going to pay their mortgage, how they're going to keep their car, how they're going to keep their lights on. And we're able to pull all that together and come up with a plan to address all those issues for them.
Right.
So I alluded to it earlier, the pride thing. And a lot of people want to know, they know bankruptcy is a public record, but if somebody comes to see you, that consultation is a private consultation.
Correct.
How do you handle that? They're either on a private phone call with you or they're in your offices.
Yes, either one. They're either on the phone or speaking to me personally.
And people are worried that everybody's going to know, that their family's going to know, that their friends are going to know. Does that happen in your experience?
No, it doesn't. I mean, like I said, the only thing that would be public is if you have a foreclosure and it's in the newspaper. But a bankruptcy itself, no. You have to go, have a special user password to get into a special pacer to go look it up. So, no, it's not that public.
I get a lot of calls, and I'm sure you do, from people I know that may be having financial problems, or friends of people I know, and they ask me that, and they say, it may be somebody that went to, their kids went to my kid's school, or they went to church with me, and I say, look, I'm not going to name names, but there's people all around you that have been through the bankruptcy process.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of people file every year.
Right.
And there's no mark on, them that says they filed bankruptcy. If anything, people are probably just a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more at ease because they've addressed their problems.
Right.
Well, how about this question, Mary? How much debt do I need to be in? How bad does my financial situation need to be to talk to a bankruptcy attorney?
Everyone's different. I mean, if it is stressing you out, and you do too, Brad. I mean, people with very limited income getting garnished. One person, and like you, I'm having a lot of people who, to be honest, they make very good money filing right now. People who worked in the Texas oil fields. And I've got several clients that are filing bankruptcy because of the pandemic. But if you're a single mother with 3 kids and you're about to be garnished, you can't be garnished at all because you're barely making it out as it is. So, there is no debt level. Is it stressing you out? If it's stressing you out, we can help you and stop that garnishment.
And if you're dealing with the anxiety of not being able to pay your debt, again, you may not be at the point where you need to file a bankruptcy, but it costs nothing to reach out to one of us and understand what your options are.
Right.
And what I hate is when people have come to us too late, they've made mistakes, they've made decisions that we could have helped with if they just talked to us earlier. And
right.
the biggest mistake I see people make, and especially during this pandemic, Meredith, is they try to get by. They do it by pulling money out of their 401k or their IRA, and they've exhausted that retirement money, and
right.
then they come to us to file a bankruptcy. And if they'd come to us earlier, I could have told them to leave all that money in the retirement account because the creditors can't touch it. It's protected from their creditors.
Right.
I have read studies, I'm sure you've seen them also, that during this pandemic, outstanding credit card debt in this country has actually gone down.
Right.
The reason it's gone down is because people feel like they don't need to pay their mortgages, don't need to pay their rent, so they're using the money they have to pay down credit card debt. Well, that's not necessarily a smart thing to do because those mortgage payments are going to come due at some time.
At some point, it will be. And so will car payments and things like that. And, the credit cards, that's unsecured debt. So it may not need to be paid at all.
So a question I get often, Meredith, is, all right, so if I'm bankrupt, if I can't pay my bills, how am I going to afford to pay an attorney? How am I going to afford to pay Meredith to file a bankruptcy?
Well, in a Chapter 13 situation, when we do your debt consolidation, it includes our fees, predominantly almost all of our fees. So you don't have to come up with very much at all. And in a Chapter 7, we always work with you. You can pay us a certain amount every month. And, we can go from there as far as, getting you filed as quickly as we can to stop any garnishments or anything from happening or lawsuits from happening.
So I think it's important for our viewers. We use these terms like Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. So for our viewers, there are essentially two different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is a straight bankruptcy. That's what a lot of people think of when they think of bankruptcy. It's where you wipe out your debt, you get on with your life. It's a quick proceeding, usually lasts no more than 4 or 5 months, and you can discharge most of your debt. There are some good things about a straight bankruptcy and some not so good things. And then there are a lot of different types, or several different types of reorganization bankruptcy. There's Chapter 12, which is a kind of bankruptcy for a family farmer or fisherman. There's Chapter 11, which usually people think of as a large corporate reorganization type bankruptcy. It can be filed by individuals, but most of our clients that need to restructure their debt do a Chapter 13 reorganization, which is like a big corporation doing a Chapter 11, but you're just restructuring your debt. You're coming up with a workable plan where you can work your way out of debt with dignity. And as Meredith just said, if you're doing a Chapter 13, we can usually put your attorney's fee into your plan of reorganization, or at least a good chunk of it, and help you almost immediately without putting any money down. If you need to file a straight bankruptcy, we'll counsel you on what bills to keep paying, what bills not to keep paying, and how you can set money aside over a period of time to pay for that straight bankruptcy. But part of our job is to help you come up with a manner to work your way out of debt, whether it be a Chapter 7 bankruptcy or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Meredith, question here, do I have to keep paying my bills if I'm going to file bankruptcy?
Depends on which one. If you are doing a Chapter 7 and you want to keep a house and a car, then you keep on paying those. In a Chapter 13, the answer is no, because everything's going to be put in the Chapter 13 reconsolidation plan. So the only thing you have to pay is your usual utility bills. Everything else will be included in the plan.
Yeah, so we're going to work through with you a good bankruptcy attorney, and certainly in our offices, we're going to let you know exactly what you need to keep paying and what you don't need to keep paying. As Meredith said, usually in a Chapter 13, we take care of all your debt. And you keep paying your groceries and your utilities and those regular things, but mortgage payment, car payment, credit card payments, all of those are going to be put into that plan of reorganization for you. All right, so here's a good question for you. If I make the decision to file bankruptcy, Meredith, what's my life going to be like afterwards?
Usually your credit score will go up. If you get a Chapter 13 discharge, that means you've paid something consistently for 5 years. Everything will be paid off with the exception of, some debts like your mortgage. If you had student loans, things like that may not be paid off. But all your other debts, your car, credit cards, all those sort of things will be done. So you'll be in 5 years debt free, with the exception of maybe your house and student loans. In a Chapter 7, you would have, your mortgage and your house, but all of those other unsecured debts, those credit cards and medical bills and things like that, they'll be gone. So, your debt, your credit will probably be a lot better.
Yeah, it's interesting. 30 years ago when I started doing this, we spent a lot of time helping our clients rebuild their credit. Now, folks, it's hard to keep them from becoming repeat clients. It certainly will help you again if you have future financial problems, but we're one business, we don't like repeat clients. So we'd like to get you your fresh start, get you on with your life so that you don't need a bankruptcy attorney again.
Right.
But 30 years ago, it certainly was more difficult to rebuild your credit after a bankruptcy filing. Today, my clients get pre-approved credit cards days after they get their discharge. They get letters from car dealerships wanting to finance vehicles. And typically, you are working with representing mortgage companies. It's not long after a bankruptcy you can buy another home. Is it usually a couple of years, Meredith? Or?
Right, a year or two at the most.
Yeah. So it's, if anything, you just need to be careful not to get into money trouble again. Often, when I ask people what's the biggest thing they're going to lose when they file bankruptcy, they'll say, "Oh, my credit will be ruined." That's not the case, folks.
No.
The biggest thing you lose when you file a bankruptcy, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, this is a straight bankruptcy, is your right to file another bankruptcy. You can only file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and get a discharge once every 8 years. Now, we hope and pray you never have to file bankruptcy again, but we believe in what we do. Bankruptcy is an important safety net. It's there to help people when they get into money problems. Just be aware, if you need to file a bankruptcy, the timing is important. You want to make sure after you file that Chapter 7, things are going to be pretty good going forward. Hopefully you've got health insurance in place. Hopefully your income is enough to pay your current bills. The worst thing we can do for you is take your money, file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and then you be in debt again another couple of years later, and there's nothing we can do for you.
Right.
Meredith, I want to take a quick break just to catch up. For those of you that may have joined late, my name is Brad Bodis. I'm an attorney with the Bond & Bodis Law Offices. Meredith Drummond's one of my partners. Meredith practices in our Mississippi offices, in Jackson, and Hattiesburg, and in Vicksburg. But our offices are across throughout Alabama, or in Mississippi, or in the Knoxville area in Tennessee. And the Bond & Bodis Law Offices help people with money problems. We've been doing this for 30 years, over 30 years now. With the current COVID pandemic, we are offering absolutely free initial consultations from the comfort of your home or your office, wherever you feel safe. We want to help you overcome the stress and the anxiety that comes with that. Don't wait until it's too late. Reach out for help sooner rather than later. Hopefully we can help you avoid having to file a bankruptcy by making smart decisions. But if you do need bankruptcy protection, you're going to get the best representation. We treat you like family. Meredith, I know, we tear up too a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just our clients.
No.
We want to get people to a better place, and there's nothing better than helping somebody overcome the burden that debt can bring. This Facebook Live episode and all of them, we do these every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, are on our Facebook page and they're on our firm's website. If you know somebody that may not be watching right now but might benefit from what we're talking about, please refer them back. These videos live, again, on our Facebook page, on our website. Somebody may benefit from coming back and looking at this later. Last week, we had a great guest. We had an attorney from Chicago that was an estate planning attorney that talked about what happens when older people have financial problems, financial planning for older people. Stephanie Garces, her video is still available, and I encourage you to look back at that if you have a family member or a loved one, older person that may be getting into some financial problems. Stephanie's contact information is on our screen again here today. But today we are talking about what actually happens when you reach out to an attorney for help. So, Meredith, I'm going to kind of walk through what would happen typically when I meet with a client, and I want you to chime in here. If you hear of anything that different you may want to add to, please do. So, we encourage people that may be having money problems, that may have questions, to call our number, which is on the screen here today. We have people available around the clock to answer your phone call, kind of talk you through the situation, pick a time that's good for you to do a consultation. we'll try to gather a little bit of initial information from you before that consultation. It's a small intake sheet. We just want to know the basics. And then we'll set up a consultation with an attorney. Now, once you meet with me, whether it's here in my office or whether it's by phone, first of all, we're just going to get to know each other. I want you to know me. Meredith,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we live here in the communities with you. We probably know some of the same people in common, although our consultation is private. We're not going to share anything. But we'll get to know each other. I want to hear your story. I want to know what happened, what caused you to get where you are right now. So many people sit across from me, Meredith, and they said, well, I never dreamt I would have been here.
Okay.
And there's just so many people that are just a job loss or a job interruption away from being behind on their mortgage payments or being behind on their car payment. It doesn't take long before things pile up.
Right.
So we talk, and then I want to go through that basic information you completed, ask some questions, answer your questions, make sure we understand what you want. Sometimes a husband and wife will come to see us together, and we can address your problems together. Some people want to make sure that their spouse is not involved. And it's important for us to know that so that we can make sure we don't do anything that you don't want to do. And then we first talk about non-bankruptcy options. If there's something we see you can do to avoid bankruptcy, we'll talk about that. We'll discuss it with you. A lot of steps you can take that are not good, and we'll address that. We did an episode a few months back on debt negotiation companies. Sometimes people look to those companies as an alternative to bankruptcy, and it can be a mistake for people. But we'll talk about that if you want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll explain how a bankruptcy works and walk you through how it will impact you personally, how we can usually save your home and save your car and save your belongings. And if all that sounds good to you and you want to hire us, we'll have you sign a retainer agreement. We'll gather all the information we need to represent you properly. Meredith, I know there are a lot of firms that do that kind of haphazardly, but we don't. We make sure when we put together a plan, we put together a bankruptcy petition for somebody, we make sure we've got everything just right. We want people to have a plan. Maybe you can talk about the type of information we gather and how we put that together for people.
Well, we give you some paperwork, and it looks like it's a lot, but we send you home with it so you have time to gather all your information. Generally, we need your taxes and bank statements and income pay advices. We get all that information. You come to me at what we call our second appointment. I go over it. We make sure, I don't have any questions about anything. Make sure we have values on cars and houses correct. That's important because we want to try to exempt all that you can. So in the bankruptcy law, you can exempt in Mississippi $75,000 of your homestead. So we want to make sure that we can protect everything that we can. So we get all your information. We answer any of your questions. We usually have a sheet that goes over Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. You always tell my clients to star any questions they have, and we'll go over it. We talk, make sure that, you don't have any questions and you know what you're doing. And then, you come back in the last appointment. We'll have a final figure, if it's a Chapter 13, what the plan will be. Make sure you can afford it. Go over your income, your expenses, make sure it's correct. And then we take all that information and file it with the court.
And something I know you're good at, Meredith, and I think most of our attorneys are, is we work with you on bankruptcy terms. We talk about Schedule I and Schedule J, but with that budget going forward. We help you look at the money you're going to have coming in going forward and what your expenses should be each month and how you should be able to make things work. And that's important, isn't it? Working people with their budget.
It is, and sometimes it tells them, oh, well, maybe I do have more money, or maybe this will help me. Because sometimes, when I say it's going to be X amount, they're like, ooh, that's too much. And then when I show them, this is the budget, is this correct? And they're like, oh, yeah, I can afford it. They forget that everything is going to be in this plan. So, except for your utilities and food. So I think they, understand that after, but that's okay.
It's our job to, we're attorneys and counselors, right? We're attorneys and counselors at law.
Now we're counselors more than ever.
Yeah. We want to help you understand how the money's going to work going forward, and we're available. If you have questions before, during, or after, we're available to you. And it's so important, people. If you make the decision to seek bankruptcy protection, it's one of the most important decisions you're going to make in your life. It's got certainly some great positive consequences, but there are some negative consequences too.
Right.
This isn't an area where you want to find the cheapest attorney or necessarily the most expensive. And we're not the most expensive, and we're not the cheapest. But you want somebody you feel good with, because there are going to be issues that come up before you file your bankruptcy. There are going to be issues that come up, at court hearings that might take place, and there's going to be questions that you'll have after your bankruptcy. And you want to know that whoever you deal with is going to be there, and that you feel comfortable with not just the attorney, but the people that work with the attorney in the office. I know they're in our Mississippi offices. I'll brag about all our offices, but we've got a great staff there. People that care about our clients and take care of our clients.
Oh, yeah.
So, Meredith, we've got some questions that are coming in from some of our viewers here.
Sure.
I want to let you have a chance to answer these. The first one here is, how long does the bankruptcy process take? How long does it take to file?
Well, in Chapter 7, probably 6 months, tops. Once we file you get your discharge within that time period. At Chapter 13, it's generally for 3, 4, or 5 years. So it just depends on what your years are for Chapter 13. Most of the time, people do a 5-year plan just because it's the most cheapest, and it's usually the most economical for most of our clients.
So this is, folks, the way you should think about it. Sometimes you buy a car and you have 60 months of payments. So that's how a Chapter 13 personal reorganization works. It can last sometimes as little as 3 years, no longer than 5 years. Some exceptions to that during COVID. Sometimes they can go a little bit longer than 5 years, but typically 5-year repayment plan max. And during that time, we put together a plan for you to pay back what you can afford of your debt. Usually it's not everything you have. Usually you put together a plan where you're paying things you have to, like your car and your mortgage payment in full, but it may be just pennies on the dollar to the credit card companies or your general unsecured creditors. In short, straight bankruptcy Chapter 7 is going to last a lot less. Start to finish, usually, as Meredith said, no more than about 6 months. In Chapter 13, 3 to 5 years. We're seeing more today, more 5-year plans than 3-year plans. But we shape up what's good for you individually.
Right.
So the next question here, if I have to repay my debts and I lose my job. So I think this person is asking, if they file a reorganization at Chapter 13 and they lose their job again, what happens? Well,
then they tell their lawyer, pick up the phone. There are things I can do, and obviously with this pandemic, have been doing quite a bit of, and it's called a suspension. We could get up to 3 months to suspend your payments. Now, those payments don't go away. They get re-put in the rest of the plan, but it buys you time to either find other employment, figure it out as far as, get your unemployment started, things like that, so that you can make your payment. I've been doing a lot of those in the last 9 months, because a lot of people have found themselves either without a job or furloughed or a plant shutting down for a certain period because of COVID. That's happened quite a bit. So you can still, it's not the end of the world, but you do have to pick up the phone because Brad and I don't have crystal balls. We don't know you're not working. So you've got to pick up the phone and let us know that you're not working. And there are things we can do.
Yeah. We understand you came to us in the first place because you had financial problems. We're not like the finance company. We're not going to be calling you as soon as you're behind. On the other hand, if there's going to be an issue, you need to let us know so that we can be your advocates, that we can tell the court, that we can tell the trustee, look, Mr. and Miss Smith, unfortunately have lost their job. The plant shut down again. Their business has had to close down again. They need a suspension on their payments. We'll do all we can, and usually we can keep the plan in place. Courts certainly are aware of what's going on today. And, I have to say, our bankruptcy judges and trustees, all in all, have been great to work with as we've gone through this pandemic. Bankruptcy courts are empathetic to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Next question. If I'm married, does my spouse have to file with me?
Not necessarily. It's going to depend a lot too of you do have to include both incomes if they both work, and they do both have to be counted in what's called the means test, which is a weird calculation that I don't even understand half the time. But it's based on the IRS, so who knows? But basically, they don't have to file, but you also have to look at the debts, because if they owe a lot of debt and you owe a lot of debt, then why don't you both just file? I mean, it's something you got to talk about. And, we do people who just file, the husband or the wife, and husband and wife don't. So doesn't necessarily, but you have to see if you're just going to be stealing, saving your money to give to the other person. Because if you are, that's not going to work.
Meredith, I think you just said the most important thing, though. You said you got to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me the number of referrals I get from people that do marital counseling, from pastors at churches that do marital counseling. One of the biggest problems that husbands and wives can have in a relationship are financial problems. And, folks come to see us, they sit down with you or they sit down with me, and it's a couple, and you can tell when they first come in, they're kind of sitting apart from each other. And,
one's upset and one's not even, I've had them where they didn't even know they were coming to see me. Right. Unfortunately, I've had those type of situations, and they didn't know why, so you have to talk.
And if you can come up with a plan together,
right?
I know, it's not me, it's the bankruptcy code, but I know I've been able to save marriages over the years because people have just, they've been at their wits' end, and the anxiety and the stress is just.
And the stress of it causes, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest factors in divorce is stress from financial situations.
So, folks, if you're having a hard time paying your bills, you know what it's like, the anxiety. It keeps you from being a good spouse. It keeps you from being a good parent. It keeps you from doing a good job at work. You've got to address the issues. You've got to reach out to somebody that you can trust. The flip side is when either the husband or the wife comes in to see us and they say, well, does my spouse need to know about this? Mm-hmm. My response is, well, they're usually going to find out.
Right.
And I advise you to talk through it with them.
Right.
We're going to need information to prepare your bankruptcy.
Right. We're going to need income, expenses. We're going to need all of that. So, I mean, it's not like the old days, like 20 years ago. We actually have to produce it to the trustees. So we have to give them your spouse's income. That's necessary.
But the ultimate answer to this question, I think, for this person is, No,
they don't.
have to include
Yeah.
your spouse. Yeah. Bankruptcy can be filed individually, separate of your spouse. It may not make sense, and we'll help you with that decision.
Right.
But you don't have to. You can, and often it's if both of you need protection. It's usually two for the price of one. You pay one court filing fee and one attorney's fee.
Right.
So you both need the help. It's often good to at least consider it. Which leads to the next question I have here, Meredith, and that's how much does it cost to file a bankruptcy?
Well, like I said, a Chapter 13, it's just basically whatever the filing fee is and credit report. So it's I think we're charging $350 to $386 for Chapter 13. The rest of our fees are put through the plan. And as I said previously in a Chapter 7, our fees range between $1,500 and $2,000. But we work with you on that. I know there are cheaper people out there, but we do this. This is what we do. This is all we do. We're not fly by night. And I think with that, we see problems. Like, do you have a homestead? Is it worth more than $75,000? If it is, you're putting that at risk. You need an attorney who knows those risks, and not everybody does. So you have to, we work with you on a plan payment that you feel comfortable with. You tell me the amount that you want to pay, and we put that down and file it for you at that time. But, we're, like Brad said, we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive, but we are experienced. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know Mr. Woods has been doing this for over 20 years too. So we're not somebody who's been doing this for 1 year and because of COVID thinks now they're going to be a bankruptcy lawyer. This is what we do.
That's something people need to be cautious about. Over the last 30-odd years, I've been doing this. So whenever we've had points in the economy, back in 2009, when the economy's turned down, there's a lot of attorneys that say, well, I'm going to start doing bankruptcy work because there's going to be a lot of bankruptcies. Folks, this is an area of the law that has a lot of nuances. And I encourage you to make sure you're very careful with the attorney you pick. Most of us offer free initial consultations. Come talk to one of us and go talk to another attorney. Right. Interview a couple. Make sure you feel good about the attorney you're hiring because, again, you're on a journey. It's a process that's going to take some time, and you may or may not need your attorney after the bankruptcy discharge to protect your rights. We're going to be here long term, and we're going to take care of you. Meredith, when people ask about what a Chapter 13 bankruptcy talks, you said properly, you only usually pay your court filing fee up front, which is $310, and then maybe some small other costs, credit reports, credit counseling. But folks, in a lot of cases, we can make your creditors technically pay your fees for you.
Right.
Because your fees are part of your plan. You're paying what you can afford into the plan, and our fee is going to be provided for, and the creditors that you owe money to are going to get what's left after that.
Right.
So if it makes you feel better, we're going to make your credit card companies eventually, in a lot of cases, help pay your bankruptcy fee.
Absolutely.
And on that note, when you come to see us, bring any letters you've been getting from these collectors. These folks are ruthless. And a lot of times they'll put things in those letters they're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. We can find something they've done wrong. It's going to, we can collect $1,000 under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act for you from that creditor. So we'll help you in any way we can when it comes to your creditors. So, all right, this next question is right up your alley, Meredith.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, will my deferred mortgage or rent payments be forgiven?
No. Eventually, the forbearances and the rent is going to be due. And it's probably going to be due all at once. So that's what you have to think about. I know there are some mortgage companies that are putting in back of the plan, but you need to think about how that's going to affect you. But the mortgages, eventually they're going to want their money. And then most likely they're going to need a big chunk of it right up front. So that's where a 13 is going to come into play, because that'll make sure that your house is safe.
Yeah. It's folks, there's so much uncertainty. We're seeing the gambit. Yeah, a lot of mortgage servicers are deferring mortgage payments. They're saying you don't need to pay them right now, but most of them have been very unclear as to when they're going to become due, and whether they're going to become due all at once.
When Katrina hit, I mean, we faced that, you and I, Brad, a long time ago when Katrina hit. Our Gulfport office, I mean, they were telling so many things. And people who, still had houses on the coast, weren't sure what to do. And to be honest, we were kind of unsure because the language was unsure. I mean, the surest way to protect your house if you're behind is to file a bankruptcy, because then they can't touch it.
And that's just strange to a lot of people, because a lot of people think, well, if I file bankruptcy, I'm going to lose my home. That's not the case. So here's a question for you, and I don't mean it to be a trick question. I may catch you, but you've been doing this for some 20 years. How many times would you say in 20 years somebody has lost their house in a bankruptcy when you didn't know beforehand, before the bankruptcy was filed, that they were going to lose it? I guess what I'm saying here is we usually know before we file your bankruptcy petition if there's going to be any problem keeping your home.
Right. No. I mean, if there's a problem, like you're not sure about the sale date, or we find a sale date later on after we've already filed you, we know those problems, and we'll tell you we can try. But if you come in with a notice of trustee, we're going to file you before that date. We're going to save your house. We may tell you there are issues. We may point those issues out, but you'll know one way or another what's going on as far as saving your house. Because the foreclosure, like I said, once the foreclosure sale date is done and gone, we can buy you time. Bankruptcy can buy you time to stay in the house and make other arrangements if the foreclosure already happened. But most likely, the mortgage company will file something so that they can proceed and take the house.
Yeah, I feel I want to be very clear with how this works with when you're behind on your mortgage payment. So again, say you get 3, 4, 5 months behind on your mortgage payment or more. Before COVID, if you were 3, 4 payments behind, usually the mortgage company might start foreclosure. And the foreclosure process in Mississippi and Alabama, Tennessee is a quick process. It's, 4 or 5 weeks being published in the newspaper, and then a sale on the courthouse steps. That's in Alabama. Mississippi is fairly similar to that.
It is.
And once they hold that sale, once your home is sold, it's gone. Now in Alabama, you've got a short period of time, 6 months, in which you can redeem the property, but that means paying the entire balance you owed on the mortgage. But with the Chapter 13 bankruptcy, as long as we file it before that sales date, it stops the foreclosure. And then we put together a plan to catch up those payments you're behind over the next 3 to 5 years. And that plan is overseen by a federal judge and by a trustee that's appointed by that federal judge to look over everything, make sure all your money is accounted for, make sure everything's taken care of, and that when you get done, that caught up with your mortgage in a good place. So you're going to keep your home, folks. You're not going to lose your home.
No.
If we can make a Chapter 13 plan work for you. Now, the flip side of it, there may be people that just, because of COVID or because of things that have happened, they're just not going to have the income that they did in the past, and they know they can't afford their home. With a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, we can help you kind of coordinate the timing of when you leave your home and get rid of any deficiency balance that may exist to get you out from under that mortgage. And Meredith, you know, you worked on the other side. You know, these mortgage servicers right now, they're decent people. They want to help you save your home, and
Right.
they'll work with you through Chapter 13.
Mhm.
They'd rather you stay in your home.
Right, because they have enough properties. I mean, that they're kind of, this is sort of, and I was working for mortgage companies in 2008. I mean, they know they're going to have a lot of real estate. They don't need any more.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a deeper note. I've kind of speculated. I think that the mortgage companies have learned from what happened in
Yeah,
2008.
they
That's
have.
why even those that aren't prohibited from foreclosing right now are working more with people that want a big inventory of homes. Um, but folks, those payments are going to come due at some point.
Right.
Please just know that my friend Meredith, Ed Woods, who's also a great attorney in our offices in Mississippi. We have good attorneys throughout Alabama, throughout Tennessee. We're up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Folks that have been doing this for a long time. We want to help you. We care about you. We know what anxiety is like. We know what not being able to pay your bills is like. And we want to help you get to a better place. Please give us a chance to do so. If you're suffering, if you're dealing with financial issues, it's absolutely free. Reach out. We'll schedule a consultation with one of our experienced attorneys, and we're going to do our best to get you to a better spot. Meredith, I thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything that you'd like to add or anything I may have missed here that you think is important for people that are having money problems to know?
I would just tell them to come in. Like you said, it's free. Even if you decide not to do it, at least you've got some options. But if you do decide to do it, I mean, I think a lot of times, especially right now, you've seen a lot of people are depressed. This kind of shows the light. You can get some hope. Maybe, we can help you solve those financial issues that are stressing everybody out right now. And I think that's the one thing is that, bankruptcy, can give you some hope that you can keep the things that you've worked so hard to keep.
Absolutely. Bankruptcy is intended to give you a fresh start. And we've been able to help a whole lot of people obtain fresh starts. And if you need a fresh start, please know we're here for you. So, again, Meredith, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for all of our clients you're helping in Mississippi. And on behalf of all of us at Bond and Botus, God bless all of you. We know you're going through tough times. We want to help you if we can. Please reach out, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.